We stand for a pledge. Please go with the national anthem and turn pledge. Of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Mr. David Hanks, invocation.
All right. Can you hear me? Okay. Everybody bow with me, please. Dear Lord, I just thank you for this beautiful day. And Lord, I thank you for those in this room that subscribe to the thought of service above self and go above and beyond to help others to make this better world we live in. Dear Lord, be with those that are making decisions, national, international, city, state levels. Help them be wise in their decisions. Bless this food and the nourishment of our bodies and our bodies to thy service. Amen.
Mr. Marcus Ken, Family Rotary.
All right, we got one birthday to celebrate this week, Mr. Jason Rudd on June 6th. So happy birthday, Jason. Got a few anniversaries, Doug and Helen Blankenship, tomorrow, June 3rd. We've got 3 anniversaries on the 5th, Wayne and Angela Palmer, Amy and Samuel Prim, and John and Gail Watson on the 5th. And then the 7th, we've got Adam Dozier and his wife Carter, and then Adam Hall and Melissa on June 8th. So happy anniversary and happy birthday.
Mr. Brad Parrish. Introduction of guests and visiting Rotaries.
All right, we are happy to welcome our guests and visiting Rotarians today. When you call your name, please stand and remain standing until all visitors are recognized. Mark Schertzer, guest of the club, interrupted his lunch. Sorry, glad to have you here. Tammy Holman, also a guest of the club, and Vicki Gregory, guest of the club. Anyone I may have missed? Thank you. We're glad to have you all here today.
Mark Christian, can't ask himself. Full-time job. All right. 409 points today. The last 4, 1, 3, 6, 9. 1, 3, 6, 9 is the last 4. What must have been my ticket about last week? 1, 3, 6, 9.
If he's got the election.
There's a winner.
Good luck.
10 spades, it rolls on. Thank you, sir. We got a few things going on before speaker, Mr. Gregory. Officially the soup drive winner. Got your cooler, but also I got a cooler and a golf bag. It's been in my truck for 4 weeks, and I finally took it out this week. So I will come hunt you down this week and bring you the rest of your gifts, but also Rotary mug that we ordered with your name on it. Congratulations, thank you. Kathy, come on down. Come on, Kathy. I know I interrupted you eating that chicken. I know you're feeding too. It's a little Rotary gift. And you have to open it. I was instructed that you have to open it for everybody.
Oh my goodness.
I did wrap it. Of course I did.
Very excited to talk about. Do I believe that? Oh, I'm so full of force. I'm not shy, I'm just sweaty. Oh my gosh! It's so cute, it says future Rotarian.
That's great.
Well, thank you. Thank you, Jim.
That was a melody.
If you noticed when you came in the door, we've got some Dothan Rotary Club coffee cups. They're on sale, taking mine for $20. I started to say $19.99, but we don't want to keep change. So it's at even $20. It has the 4-way test on one side and of course Dothan Rotary Club on the other side. We're also giving it to guest speakers starting today, but you can purchase your own or you can purchase 10. However many you would like to have, we can order more. So feel free to spend money with your Dothan Rotary Club. Another announcement, you'll get an email this week from me and Dothan Rotary. We're going to open up the option starting in June. The new invoices come out for the six months following. You can either, I know everybody uses it to paint it. It's a 6 month and re-up every 6 months. You can have the option, but you have to email Heather or Jeannie back. I think we'll say Heather. Email her if you want to do it monthly. Some people you put it in a credit card number, do it online, and it'll just hit it every month. That figure every month instead of every 6 months. You have to remember to pay it or write a check. If you want to keep paying it the same way, more than welcome. Or you can just put it in there and either a debit card or a credit card, and then it'll hit it monthly. So, but you'll get an email, but you have to confirm in that email that you want to be set up that. But you'll get an email in the next, hopefully I'll get it done this week or next week. So you can make a choice because the June invoices will go out sometime this week. So just pay attention when you see the email from me or Dothan Rotary. It's 9 out of 10. It should be a thing asking if you want to do that monthly or not. It's your time, Mr. Greg.
Thanks, Rick. It's a treat for me today to get to introduce somebody who's actually been a lifelong friend of mine. And if you grew up in the neighborhood around the Episcopal Church in Dothan, this is years and years ago. This goes all the way back to the 60s. We didn't have a park close by, but the Episcopal Church, where the big social hall is now, that used to be a lake. all the boys in the neighborhood would go up there in the afternoons, depending on the season, we would either toss the football or we couldn't hit baseballs because Father Acosta thought we were gonna break the windows of the church out. So, we played wiffle ball. But, it's a treat for me to get to introduce William Holman to you today. Many of you know William, if you're a new member of this club. He's executive director of the Dothan area Botanical Gardens, located, just north of Dothan. He came to the gardens 6 years ago after 34 years of service to the landmark park. He served as executive director for the park for 30 years, so a lot of experience running important organizations today. He's a native of Dothan, graduating from Dothan High School, and he holds a BA in history from Auburn University. After leaving Auburn, he earned a master's degree in environmental education. While a student of the National Audubon Society Expedition Institute, this 2-year learning program led him and fellow students across the country, learning about the outdoors while camping, backpacking, canoeing, and hiking in a variety of outdoor environments. He slept on the ground in a sleeping bag for 18 months and says his back still hurts. William is a graduate of the Seminar for Historic Preservation, an intensive month-long training program held at Colonial Williamsburg in Virginia. He's married to the former Tammy Atkinson, who was at our front table up here, and they have 2 grown daughters, Anna and Caroline. Please join me in welcoming William Holman to the club.
Good afternoon, and thank you for the invitation to come speak today. I know a lot of you are very familiar with the garden, but I thought it would be a great opportunity to come and, particularly in case you have some new members, talk a little bit about the garden in general and also some new projects that we're working on. We are very lucky. We are very lucky in the Dothan area to have the Dothan area botanical garden. A lot of cities much larger than us do not have a botanical. There's only about 4 in the state. As a matter of fact, Montgomery is very, very jealous of us. They have tried and tried, and they have not been successful. And every time I see one of the folks that's involved with that organization, they really kind of wring their hands at, how is Dothan doing what we can't do? And so, but there's a great story about the garden. And where we are, we're located right next to Landmark Park. The entrance is off Headland Avenue. And the way we got our start, I guess most of you know, is through this gentleman right here, Rayfield Vester, who was the county agent for 30-something years here in Houston County. And when the Master Gardener program was first getting started, this was in the early 90s, one of the members of that class had just returned from a family trip to England. And she was telling the class how beautiful the gardens were. They went to see, there were all kinds of gardens that they visited. And she finally said, why can't we have something like that? And Rayfield just frankly said, we've never tried. And she said, well, you're the county agent. Why don't you try? So it kind of caught Rayfield by surprise, but they discussed it as a class and they said, yeah, let's go for it. Let's try this. Of course, Rayfield had a regular column in the newspaper and he knew a lot of people and they did decide to form a nonprofit organization. And this is here at the garden, those bees. There are some sculpture by Mark Schertzer here, and that sign kind of tells the story about how the garden got started. They formed a board of directors and started, and most
public garden exist because of a sugar cane. You know, but we didn't have a belly grass, we didn't have a Callaway, we didn't have, you know, some of the nice big donations that sometimes comes with the establishment of a public garden. But we did have people who were interested and felt the need for a garden, that it would benefit Dothan. And a lot of that's the original board there, a lot of folks there have gone beyond, are no longer here. And I see Ralph Smith, and AC Allen, a lot of people you know, Jim Oates, Beverly Howell. There are a lot of folks that were involved in the early days. And one of the fortunate things is that on that original board was a landscape architect, Michael Kennedy. And he helped draw pictures. He came up with a master plan that helped that board, that original board, visualize what the botanical garden could be. Now, we didn't always follow that plan, but at least we had a starting point. And we started with 47 acres of land. It was purchased from the Whitten family, and it was a farm. So we started with bare ground, and there you can see that was the beginning, for example, of the daily garden. And today, that's what it looks like. Wow. So we have come a long way, and it's from people like you in the community who have contributed time or your talents. Businesses have contributed materials and supplies, and folks have contributed money, but it is truly a community garden. And that's what a lot of people, when I visit with other directors from other gardens, are kind of shocked at, that, you know, this was not a garden that was already developed, it was gifted, you know, to the people of our area. It started with nothing. So you see right there, it has come a long way. We have probably 15 or more what we call pocket gardens, individual gardens. This is our rose garden right here, and this was actually the first garden developed inside the botanical garden. And it is a wonder to behold. When it's in bloom, it'll knock your socks off. We are very fortunate in that we have a local rose society. So they're out there twice a month, deadheading roses and pruning and fertilizing, all the things that have to be done. But it is truly, you won't see this in many places. We also have Asian garden, you can see there, and you know, you'll see a koi pond and the typical red bridge and all the things there that you see of Asian style garden. We also have a tropical house, and I will point out that you'll see a lot of these gardens have a local family's name on them. This is my commercial, that if you like to see your family name on the garden, there's several out there that are available. But inside the tropical house, of course, you can see things that you can't find here, that don't grow here, that are found in the tropics. There are all kinds of orchids and things like that are blooming there. This is, and I'm not going to, don't worry, I'm not going to show you all 20. But this is the demonstration garden where we show what people can do in their own backyard. And this is kind of our hands-on area. And, you know, gladly, most of the produce that's raised there goes to the food bank. And we're proud that there's about 16 or 17 raised beds in that demonstration garden. And believe it or not, over the last 25 years, it has generated over 25,000 pounds of food for the food bank. So, and there's a formula I don't remember how to convert that to meals, but it's, he's getting out of his cap.
Put me on the spot.
But again, it is, it's very interesting for folks. People can come out and they can see things growing. They can see how to do things. We do different activities.
19,000.
19,000 meals. That's amazing. Skipped over some slides here. But again, it's, guess I got it there. Sorry about that. It is a hands-on area. It is where kids can get their hands dirty. And we are firm believers in that kids don't need to just learn sitting in a classroom. You know, they need to get their hands dirty, and gardening can be a lifetime hobby, a lifetime activity. So we know that these kids can become future gardeners and future supporters of the garden. We also host, thanks to our local master gardeners, a junior master gardener program where I think these are fifth graders. They come out and they learn about soil and fertilizing, all different kinds of things. But we're glad to support that. The garden, of course, is an area that brings people together. We are the site of weddings and different activities like that. We have what is known as Ricketts Hall, where people can have an outdoor wedding and then they can have an indoor reception, which happens quite a bit. We have a nice lawn area where wedding receptions can also set up tents. That room is also used for, I think we have quite a variety of things, but we just, within the last month, had a rose show. We've had a daylily show. We have different activities like that take place in the room, as well as it's a great site if you're looking for an off-site location for a workshop or a staff training or some kind of team building area. It can be used for that as well. And you know that we do have several activities that draw people to the gardens. Scarecrows in the garden is one favorite activity. That's what's coming up next. And it's where different businesses or families or churches or organizations enter a scarecrow and is voted on, by the public. So that's a lot of fun. That'll take place during the month of October. One of our other big fundraisers is the Rouse Youth Memorial Golf Tournament. Some of you, I'm sure, have participated in it. It is a great fundraiser for us, primarily because so many of the people that participate in it are from out of town. Ralph was in the plumbing business, and so a lot of his suppliers and vendors want to pay tribute to Ralph. And so we have players and sponsors from Nashville, from Atlanta, from Birmingham, from all over the area that participate because they want to express their regards to Ralph. But it's a big tournament. I think we will have to expand into another course, this coming year. Gardens Aglow is also one of our big fun, and it's actually now, Gardens Aglow is now our biggest fundraiser. It started as just a small idea, trying to put out some Christmas lights, but it really took a turn 2 years ago. We got a call from a family down in Mobile who said, we've been letting people come on our farm for 30 years and enjoy Christmas lights. We've been doing it for a long, long time, but we're getting out of it. And so we offered all our Christmas lights to Bellingrath Gardens. They told us to call y'all. So thanks to Bellingrath, we got a donation of about $88,000 worth of lights.
Wow.
In Christmas displays, which we have not even incorporated yet. So it gets bigger every year, but there's still more to come. A lot of these displays have to be rewired. And, but we went down there with a truck, a big panel truck, and loaded up more lights than we could imagine. So that's something that's growing, and the beauty of it, or the amazing part of it, is it's all done by volunteers. You know, there are places like you take, Bellingrath Gardens, you know, they have paid employees that string their lights. But, we have a dedicated group of volunteers. Bo is in the back, he's one of them. Bo and Mark both, work on this project, and it's really, it's probably the largest Christmas light display in Southeast Alabama. So if you have not gone yet, I encourage you to come this coming year. But it's really a great family oriented activity, and it's profitable for the garden. One more activity that we do is, we call it Egg Quest, and it's a public art display. And it's where we make 4-foot wooden eggs and distribute them to the schools. And the schools paint them. And again, it's an art contest.
Wow.
And I think that one was done by students at Houston Academy. But it's a public art display. And so people enjoy coming out and seeing, you know, what people have painted. So it's, again, just like the Scarecrows, it's different organizations, different businesses, different schools, just a wide variety of people that participate. Now that's our winner this year, Laura Slavens. These are all voted on by our district. So we usually have an overall winner as well as the school winner. Many of you know we do a plant sale that happened back in the spring. And we do it in conjunction with the Master Gardener plant sale. So it's a big plant sale. Our portion of the sale are just native plants. One of the big changes that we made, which I'm sure all of you are familiar with now, is the garden is no longer a free garden. You know, for probably 20 or 25 years, the garden was free. And we just simply could not do it any longer. We just could not maintain the garden, not charging admission. So we now charge $5 for anyone 16 or older. Kids 15 or younger get in free. So it's very minimal. It's probably the cheapest admission of any of our public gardens in the state of Alabama. We do participate with a library, though, with a Connect Pass. So if someone feels like the admission is a problem, if they have a library card, they go down to the library and get a Connect Pass, and it gives them free admission to one time. Another initiative we have in improving the garden is focusing on native plants. We didn't do that in the beginning, and we are now really putting an emphasis on bringing in native plants, and we want people to see that there are just as beautiful plants native to our area as you can go down and buy at a store. These are pitcher plants. You're familiar with them. Southeast Alabama, Northwest Florida, and Southwest Georgia is essentially the center of the universe when it comes to pitcher plants. There's more pitcher plants, more variety of pitcher plants found here than anywhere else. And if you don't know much about pitcher plants, it's a carnivorous plant, just like a Venus flytrap. It eats insects, and that's how it gets its nitrogen. You'll find them in mostly boggy soils, but that's their source of nitrogen. Usually those areas are very poor in nitrogen, so nature has designed a way for these plants to actually eat insects, and actually you'll find other things in there too, lizards and frogs. We are also focusing on native azaleas. I'm sure a lot of you are now familiar with native azaleas. you know, the azaleas that we see in our yard actually came from China. They came from China in about the 1840s, but they were native azaleas growing in the woods all along. And a lot of the old timers will call them the bush honeysuckle. You can see the flower looks like a honeysuckle flower, but it's actually an azalea. And these, most of them are actually carry a scent. You know, they smell very good, but the azalea you smell in your yard. But these native azaleas, and we have a representative collection of all the native azaleas that are found in Alabama. But anyway, so we're proud that our garden is pet friendly. You know, so we have people who come out every single day to exercise their pets. We have an initiative too. We're getting more educational signage in the garden. Almost every one of those pocket gardens has an educational sign that explains a little bit about that garden and what's unique about those plants. This is the tropical house. This is one of our staff members. This is Corey Lewis, who is in charge of the tropical house. And Paul, I want to say thanks to our city, county, and especially our state legislators who have been very supportive of the garden, which we could not do without the support of our city, county, and state. So Paul, we appreciate your support. One of the best things we've done, I'm sure you've heard about, last 2 or 3 years, we opened Wings of Wonder, which is a butterfly house, a butterfly enclosure. There's only 3 of these in the state. Actually, there's a 4th one now. But the main ones have been in Huntsville, at the Huntsville Botanical Garden. There's one in Birmingham at the Birmingham Zoo, and ours. And so these are really just big enclosures that has everything a butterfly needs to survive. And I read that there's another one opening near or in the Wiregrass region. I haven't seen it yet. Anyway, these are great teaching tools. It's a great opportunity for kids to come and learn about insects, learn about pollinate. Inside, it has everything a butterfly needs to survive. Visitors can sometimes watch butterflies mate, lay eggs. The butterflies eclose or come out of their chrysalis. So it's a unique opportunity. You know, and of course, butterflies aren't the only pollinator we have, but we now know that pollinators are responsible for 1/4 of every bite of food you take. A lot of our crops that are grown, they have to have pollinators. And so whether it's a bee or a butterfly or a hummingbird or whatever, there's a lot of pollination that goes on that's required. So it's important for kids to understand that. But it's a fun, unique thing. Kids love it, adults love it. People of all ages enjoy getting that first-hand look. And what we do is we only house native butterflies. So these are the butterflies that will come to your backyard that you see. One of our latest projects is the development of a Japanese maple garden. This is a moon gate that Mark designed and we had built. I don't have a picture of all the Japanese maples. We've got probably 35 or so maples in that garden, but it's really going to be a great asset to the garden. This is another thing that we did, you may or may not know about 2 or 3 years ago, is we added this piece of sculpture. This is brass, and we added this piece of sculpture from a lady named Jean Woodham. And this is the sign that's being developed. It's actually in production right now. Jean Woodham was born in Midland City. She was raised pretty much in Geneva. She went to Auburn, majored in art. When she left there, she went to New York City to start her career as an artist. And her specialty wound up being large metal sculptures. So she wanted to learn how to weld, and she did, and she became one of the foremost female welders in the country. And she focused on primarily large outdoor sculptures, and we were lucky to get a piece of her work. There's only 3 places in Alabama that have it. This is in Auburn. That's an example of her work in front of the Art Museum. Actually, Auburn has 2 pieces of her work. That's another one. The only other public place where you can see her work is Alabama. But we're very fortunate to have a piece of her work. I mean, here it is, somebody locally that went off and actually was known all over the world. She has exhibited her artwork all over the world. And again, was one of the foremost recognized female welders from right here in the Wilderness. Another nice thing that happened this past year is we were selected. I don't know if you get this magazine, Alabama Magazine. They have something, just like we have locally, but they have what's known as Best of Bama. And whereas readers vote on different things, the best barbecue restaurant, the best, whatever. And one of the categories is the best garden. Well, their voters selected us as the best garden in Alabama, which for us being a small garden competing against Birmingham Botanical Gardens and Huntsville Botanical Gardens, all that, we were shocked that we received it. But the garden, again, is a great place for families to come. We have about 25,000 visitors a year, and these visitors come from about 45 different states. So we're proud of that people stop by, they see us, they enjoy us, they spread the word. And so, and it's a great deal. That 2 carloads of people only cost us $10. There's only 2 adults there. So a lot of parents love bringing their kids, out to the garden. But it takes a lot of work, and we have a lot of volunteers. We appreciate that. These are master gardeners right here. If you'd like to become a volunteer, we encourage you to do so. We also would encourage you to become a member. If you're not a member, I think on your table are some membership applications. The membership to the garden not only helps us, but it's a great deal for you. We're part of a consortium of other botanical gardens, and a membership to the Dothan Botanical Garden can get you in 340 other botanical gardens. There are gardens in every state. We all recognize each other's part. So just this weekend, we had somebody from Atlanta. They're members of the Atlanta Botanical. So they got free admission. So I encourage you to do that. Encourage you to join. And again, we appreciate it. Again, I want to thank, see several people out there. Sam Casey, who was a former board member, and of course, Bo and Mark are current board members. And some of you are probably involved through the years in different things. And if you're a member, we appreciate you sending us that membership check. And if you're not, we encourage you to just, I think that's it. Be happy to answer any questions if anybody has questions.
At one time, I think you said every state in the continental U.S. we've had visitors from. Is that right?
Pretty close. There may be, I don't know if we've had as high as 47 states recognized. There's probably 1 or 2 that have not visited, but we regularly get visitors from 45 states. And so that's, we're proud of that. Any other questions or comments?
On the reciprocal memberships, Mom and I were in Atlanta recently, I told William this. And we went to Atlanta Botanical Gardens to see a new exhibit they had there. Huge. And, for the two of us, it would have been $54. So it was $27 we didn't pay a penny. So it's well worth it, if nothing else, you're traveling around, you have to go in other gardens.
Yeah,
I
thank you.
encourage you to
Thank you. We do have classes. I don't teach it. My wife will tell you that I'm not the gardener. But yes, we do have pruning classes and different workshops that we try to teach. So yeah, we don't offer as many as I would like, but we do offer educational programs for the public as well as kids.
William, have y'all ever considered getting honeybees that work with?
Yes, and that's an important thing, and we have been talking about it, or I have been talking about it. Years ago, the garden did have some bee colonies, but it was back when the garden was not manned. And so there were some issues with kids harassing, it's not very smart to throw a brick at a bee colony, but, it happened. And so we took bees out of the garden for a while, but it's such an important lesson about pollination. It's something I would like to add back. At Landmarks, I had some observation hives that had a high fence around it, which forced the bees to have a high flight path, which is something I'd like to do here. The key to it is getting people to help, manage those colonies. And so we're working on that part of it. But yeah, pollination is an important aspect of all of this. Any other questions or comments? All right, thank you all so much.
My wife would probably, I kill everything in the yard, so I just kind of go buy it and then bring it to the house. My wife plants it, so that's the reason I asked about classes. Probably would, so y'all will be calling my wife because I don't need to go to any more classes. Next week we have a board meeting, June the 9th. So all the board members plus the new incoming board, if you would like to come, please, next Monday. Of course, Alan will be there. I think he wants to talk to the new board members as figure out how to switch into what program. So I know one of them wants to take over the White Elephant Cell next year. So just giving you a heads up. Post the last one. Next week we have Dr. Wallace and Dr. Charles Lewis as our guest speakers. And if we can, let us stand for the four-way test. Of the things we think, say, and do.
Is it true? Is it fair and all concerned? Will build goodwill and better friendships. Will be beneficial for all concerned.
God bless you and have a great week. Thank you.